Hi, everyone. I'm Bill Rosinski. Welcome to another edition of Sports Night. And we're on location this time at Charlie's Tobacco Outlet, right across from the Siskiyou YMCA on Weddington Road. Good show for you tonight. We're going to talk football first with one of the most popular Carolina Panther players, part of that Super Bowl team that gave us quite a ride back to the 2003 season. He started Clemson, began his career in the NFL in 1994 as the draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we're, of course, talking about Brentson Buckner. Brentson, good to see you.
Hi, nice to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Boy, time flies. 94, you're drafted. You come out of Clemson. You get in the National Football League, and you were on some great teams. And does it seem like you played that long and the career's already over?
No, it doesn't seem like it. You know, it goes by so fast because, you know, you're so blessed to be there. You're happy. You just enjoy it. Then you look up and you're like, wow, where all the time gone? And then 2 years after you finish playing, you roll over, get out of bed. Then you know, yeah, I did play a long time in the NFL.
And you were kind of blessed. I don't know if you ever had a lot of injuries. You played a lot in just about every game every season.
Yeah, I was blessed. I didn't have none of the major injuries, the ACLs, you know, broken bones. I didn't have them, so I think the Lord took care of me a little bit with that one. So, you know, I was actually able to enjoy my experience in the NFL and spend a lot of time on the field.
Now, I know you're doing a few things now, and I want to get into this with the fans. You are a head football coach in high school, is that right? Tell the fans about it.
Yes, I'm a head football coach at Northside Christian. You know, it'll be my first year head coach over there. You know, a program that's a proud program, but hadn't had too much success. So we know we're going to go in and try to build some success. I have some other football players. Mo Collins, Charlotte native, played with the Oakland Raiders. He's on my coaching staff. And Myron Bell, one of my teammates from the Pittsburgh Steelers, on my staff. So, you know, we're going to go in there and see if we can get this thing turned around.
So is there a coach you played for that you're going to kind of pattern your style after?
Well, I talked to Coach Fox a week ago, and I was just like, and I'm going to have to call you. You came in after we was 1-15, and, you know, and just tell me what was your mindset. So, you know, between Coward and Mariucci and Fox, I'm going to try to pull from all of them and just try to be the best coach I can be.
All right, now you've also gotten involved in another business as well with Al Wallace, another former Carolina Panther. You and your wives have started something pretty special, haven't you?
Yeah, we started, it's called Precious Playtime. It's an hourly child watch care service. And what it is, you know, you don't have to have a reservation. You know, wife and husband want to go out to dinner, catch a movie. You can drop the kid off. Dad's watching the kids, want to go play around the golf. He can drop the kids off. We're in Ballantyne Commons. And what we try to do is, you know, being in the NFL, having kids, a lot of times the wives couldn't do a lot of stuff because you had to watch the kids. You know, being in a foreign city, you're not too sure who you want to leave your kids with. So we wanted to create this atmosphere where people felt good about they could leave their kids and go off and enjoy themselves for a couple hours and come back. And we just don't put your kids in front of TV and watch the tape. We teach Spanish classes. We teach arts and crafts. We interact with them. You know, the kids have a real good time, and we wanted to be experienced. So they're asking mom and dad, go out again, let us go into Precious Playtime. So I think it's going real good, and, you know, being able to do it with Al Wallace and his wife, you know, a guy that I became real close friends with at Carolina, even makes it much better.
I'd like to get your take on what happened this year with the New England Patriots, the whole Spygate thing. You played the Patriots in the Super Bowl 38. Was there any point in that game when you were on the field defensively where you thought they knew what you guys were doing? And in other words, did you think there was anything going on with Belichick and picking up defensive signals that you could see out there?
No, you don't think about it. You know, Tom Brady is such a great quarterback, you know, a guy who studies the game, who spends a lot of time. And it was times that he really knew, but it was nothing like, well, how could he know that? It's just, you knew he was a guy that watched film and could do it. And it was a good team. You know, I don't care how many signals you stop. If you can't, football's about lining up, be man enough to stop them, and them be man enough to stop you. And, you know, I don't take nothing away from it because, you know, I was always taught, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So, but, you know, it's art of war. You know what I mean? And those teams were great, but, you know, they have a knowledge of the game. I'm pretty sure if they did do anything like that, it could be a big advantage, you know, knowing coming in, but I wouldn't take anything from them. It was a great game, and they ended up on top.
And in your preparation that week when defensive signals were talked about and sent in from the sidelines, no one ever brought up, hey, you know, they might be picking up our signals. It was kind of a normal week for you guys?
Yeah, it was a normal week for us. You know, we know, but anyway, Mike Turkovac, the defensive coordinator, you know, he always, you know, had assistant coach throwing in like a D-line. Sal would throw up dummy signals. He would throw in. Sometimes Sal would be live. Sometimes Mike would be down. So we did a good job anyway because it's about being paranoid anyway. And that's why you see offensive coordinators hiding their mouth when they're talking on the microphone, and it's going directly to the quarterback's helmet. So, Mike Turkovac and those guys always did a good job anyway of just, if they were doing it, they didn't know what signal was coming in anyway because, he always had somebody doing the dummy signal.
How good do you think, when history looks back at the few years you were on the field with Chris Jenkins, Mike Rucker, and Julius Peppers, how do you think that front four, 10, 15 years from now, when people look back at the four of you guys, how will you be viewed, do you think? I
think we'll be viewed as a good defensive line because we were good, but the one thing that separates good from great in our business is putting a Super Bowl ring on your finger, and we couldn't close the deal. And I think if we had closed the deal that we would have moved up in stature, whereas we could be mentioned with guys like the Tampa Bay defensive line, for instance. They put the ring on their finger, so they'll get to step up into that big group and talk about as champions. But I think that we would be considered pretty good because a lot of people didn't really give us credit. Mike Rucker was an undersized defensive lineman coming out of school, and everybody said, why is he going here? Chris Jenkins was seen as an underachiever. I was seen as a guy that just flopped around, and Julius was the only star.
Right.
But for some reason, when we all got together, it was a well-oiled machine, along with Shane Burton and Al Wallace. So I think we'll be considered pretty good, but not great because we just couldn't get that Super Bowl championship.
Before we even started taping this show, you were being asked about Julius Peppers. He did not have a good year last year. You made an interesting point, and I'd like you to tell our viewers, at some point, people are going to get a book on you, and Julius has to get better, maybe even more mentally in this game, doesn't he?
Yes, athletic-wise, as an athlete, probably one of the greatest to ever play this game. But sooner or later, people begin to evolve their schemes towards you. And one thing Julius has to get better at, he has to become a mental warrior now because people are going to sit in there and their offensive means and their whole game plan is how we're going to stop 90, how we're going to keep him off his quarterback. So now he has to take that same mentality and go out and be like, I got to devise my own game plan. I got to become my worst coach. What I mean by that, picking up my tendencies, try to change them, and just become very mental because athletic ability gets equalized, neutralized in this game. So then it's the mental guys like Jerry Rice. After 3 years in the league, everybody knew Jerry Rice was a great wide receiver. But he did it for 15 more years because he took his mental game to a total different level.
Well, of the two Super Bowls you played in, Brentson played with the Pittsburgh Steelers, got beat by the Dallas Cowboys, and obviously the Panthers and New England Patriots. As you prepped for each game going into that week, was there one you thought you had, I think we got these guys, we're going to win this game? Or, talk about those two Super Bowls you played in, any differences in your feel as you went on the field?
Well, going into the Super Bowl 30 against the Dallas Cowboys, we started that season off 3-4. And so Coward came in and was like, we throwing caution to the wind, offensively, defensively, special teams. So it relaxed us. So going in that Super Bowl, we sitting there like, we got Dallas because they want to line up and pound the ball, but, they got a lot of veterans. But our offense had went to a 5-wide set with Cordell Stewart. You're not knowing if he's going to line up at quarterback, running back, or wide receiver. And we knew they couldn't put out 5 DBs that could handle us. So we thought like we got them, but we got to the game. Got into Tempe, Arizona, it was a total different story. And Dallas showed that they had been there before. So I think Super Bowl 30, I really felt that we had a chance to win the game because the Pittsburgh Steelers, a Pittsburgh organization had never lost a finals that they had made. Pirates, Penguins, or the Steelers. And I'm part of the first team to lose the finals. But as far as Carolina, we felt good about ourselves. We felt real good to go from 1-15 2 years earlier to where we were, and we was riding high. We felt that we had a chance because we were hitting on all cylinders too. And it's just a matter of the Super Bowl, and you're talking about a game that goes by fast. You prep for 2 weeks, you go a whole season. It's like the game was only 10 minutes long. And we got into that game, and, it was a slog fest. Our offense finally got going. So by the time our offense got going, we was winded on defense, and we just couldn't get off the field. And Brady, you couldn't give a quarterback like Brady that much time in the pocket or allow him to find open wide receivers because he was good at that. But I felt going in that game, if that kick doesn't go out of bounds because we had solely stole the momentum, that we probably would have ended up winning that game because we had took their best and we were starting to come back.
Brentson Buckner with us here on Sports Night. Great seeing you.
Thank you very much.
We need another show with you. A lot more stuff I wanted to get into. Maybe we can do that again. Brentson Buckner, our guest. More. Scott Fowler joins us after the break. Stay right there.